Are aliens somewhere out there in space? Or are they living beneath us? Have extraterrestrials visited us before and built massive homes underground? Let's find out. Welcome to Purgatory. What's going on, freaks and freakettes? I'm Spike.
And I'm mad.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. You can pledge to the show via anchor.fm. Give us a like and share wherever you're hearing this and help us grow. Drop us a comment to let us know what you think because we love hearing from listeners. There's actually a function on the Anchor app where you can send us like a voice memo thingy, and you might end up on the podcast. You never know. But what's going on, Madman?
Nothing much. Just came off a great weekend.
Yeah, I had a pretty good one as well. It was fucking boiling hot outside, though.
Oh yeah. We were doing some yard work.
Ooh.
And went through like 3 t-shirts.
Yeah, I did some yard work too, but I started at like 6:30 in the morning to beat the heat. Holy fuck, it was hot. Kind of stuff you like make sure your dog isn't outside too long hot.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. It was like 97. It's freaking melting.
97 plus the heat index because it's been raining like the last couple weeks, so it's humid as shit.
Yeah,
the air's like heavy.
Yeah, it's that like weather where you like if you stand still, you start like sweating for no reason.
That's horrible. Anyway, well, we had a winter where it was negative fucking 30, and now we have a summer where it's 106. But hey, that's what you get when you live in the Midwest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But today we're gonna explore one of my favorite topics ever, and that is aliens. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I love talking about, theorizing about, just brainstorming and shooting the shit about what could be out there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And even more fun than that is, have they visited us before? Have they been on our planet? And there's a lot of weird stuff when you start looking at things in history on different civilizations and ancient texts and books and stuff like that. Now, one of my favorite shows on TV, even since I was a little kid, has been Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. Have you ever watched that show?
Oh yeah.
With the guy with the crazy hair.
Aliens, yeah.
Like, look,
my man.
They're out there. And it's different from shows where they hunt Bigfoot to me. Because shows where they hunt Bigfoot, it's just going to be a bunch of rednecks walking around in the woods. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be like, I saw one here once with my daddy.
Yeah.
And those are just ridiculous to me because they're never going to find them.
Yeah.
But the alien ones it's crazy because they'll show you like a cave drawing of a guy that's sitting on this, like in a ship. It's like, that's a spaceship. That's an ancient drawing of a spaceship,
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's really cool too.
It's wild. I know exactly where you're referencing, and those pictures are so weird because they also have like some that like look like modern day astronaut suits,
Yeah, it's just so
weird.
Bizarre. And
like something's going on there.
Or we're gonna talk a little bit about this today, but you'll see paintings from like Egypt and then paintings in South America, and it's like the same character. Or like a sculpture, and it's the same character, or like we'll talk about that later. That'll make more sense.
I was gonna say, look at the simple fact that they both built pyramids,
Yeah, for sure.
And that's weird.
That we're far beyond their technology.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to talk about specifically some aliens some theories about aliens that may have lived underground on the Earth. Now, there was an episode of Ancient Aliens that went into this, and a lot of my speculation and a lot of my brainstorming stuff that I'm going to bring up was from that episode. And it's all on History Channel. We can watch it online. But in central Turkey, there's an ancient rock city in the mountains called Derinkuyu. And in 1963, just a simple home renovation, they knocked down a wall, and it revealed this hidden passageway, right? So imagine you're just like, yeah, I'm going to expand the basement, and you knock down a wall, and you're like, holy shit.
Oh, my God.
So it revealed this hidden passageway to an underground city that was thousands of years old and over 280 feet deep. That's over 13 stories deep, right?
Yeah.
And as you go down into the ground, it's harder and harder to get air, so you have to have some kind of ventilation system. Like even government buildings, the Pentagon and stuff like that it goes down into the ground, there's ventilation ducts and HVAC systems that bring oxygen down into the lower systems. Otherwise, you'll just fucking suffocate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so these people had enough technology and enough understanding of that there were ventilation shafts all the way down to the very deepest caverns, almost 300 feet into the ground. And this was thousands of years old, right? So they had understanding of engineering. There were no cave-ins or anything like that. There's no evidence of cave-ins. So they had a clear understanding of engineering. And they're doing this in volcanic rock. So it's very soft, very porous rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so engineering, no cave-ins. Then there was the understanding of ventilation. And they said that there was enough infrastructure. There were storerooms, livestock stables, religious gathering places. There was enough infrastructure to house over 20,000 people in this thing.
Wow.
Think about that. That is fucking amazing. But think about a city of 20,000 people, bury it.
Yeah.
And that's what these people made. And these were, by all means, these should have been primitives, with rocks and sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even now, this would be a massive undertaking with modern engineering, with modern machinery, the whole nine. But so how the fuck did these people do that with rocks and sticks? How did they haul out the dirt and the rock from 280 feet down? How did they engineer this? How did they create enough light to see down there? And like I said, no evidence of cave-ins. And why would they even want to go underground? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? So did someone tell them to go underground? That's what was brought up. And that's what's weird to me is you see a lot of these ancient texts and ancient books, and it's a chronicling of an event where something beyond the civilization's understanding happened and delivered a message to them,
Mm-hmm.
So there's a debate on what civilization actually built this, but kind of the most commonly accepted explanation is there was a religion, the Zoroastrian religion. Most people say this was responsible for the underground city, and it was founded before the 6th century BC. And its prophet saves mankind from a disaster, and then the prophet Yima, in this text, builds an underground city to protect mankind from a global winter.
Oh, wow.
And so there was in that era BC, there was a cooling period. It was colder, right?
Yeah.
And they called this guy Yima the sky god. And it's impossible to carbon date stone, so they don't know exactly how old Derinkuyu was. But it's old. If it's as old as anyone thinks, or it could be older than anyone thinks, because there's no way to totally know,
Yeah.
But they called this dude the sky god, and he told them to go underground and hide from a global winter. How fucking crazy is that?
Yeah.
Right? And apparently the doors in this place were over 1,000 pounds, and they were one solid piece of rock, and they were over 1,000 pounds, and they were on rollers so that one person can open them, but they could only be opened and closed from the inside. I think so this is a shelter. This is a place where we go if shit goes down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can only open it from the inside. I thought that fact by itself, I was like, what? So this is like a giant fallout shelter for an entire city,
Mm-hmm.
And according to the Zoroastrian religious text, Ahura Mazda rode from the sky in a chariot of fire and waged war in the sky with an eternal enemy. Now, could this have been the global winter, or was this like an extraterrestrial battle in the sky that these people built Derinkuyu to flee from?
Wow, dude, that's fucking descriptive as hell.
Yeah, it's next level shit, dude. Like, there's a lot of and you could draw parallels to Christianity, to Judaism, to Islam, to Hinduism, to Buddhism, to everything. There's always this being that's from beyond our realm that we don't understand, that delivered us a message that humans wrote down to the best of our understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that, and I happen to be religious, and I'm not saying that all gods or God or the concept of God is aliens. I'm just saying it's interesting to think about and to kick around ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
So we see more and more of this with even other ancient peoples or ancient civilizations in what is now the American Southwest, like the Navajo, the Pueblo, the Hopi, and the Apache tribes. Now, these tribes were pretty isolated from each other. They didn't really talk too much, or they waged war against each other a lot of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all of these tribes have the same creation myths, or very similar. They all believe that they were born from the ground. Now, anthropologists believe that they walked from Asia across the land bridge, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of the accepted fact. But again, I just think it's funny to play around with ideas. And so all these tribes believe that legends independent of each other, they made their own legends, right? But they're all similar. And a lot of them believe that ancestors emerged from a battle with falling stars, right? So there was a massive battle in the sky. The stars were fighting, and a bunch of stars fell to Earth. And then beings from the stars took shelter underground and lived with the Hopi people, and they referred to these people as ant people and snake people. And there's drawings of them, and they have these large heads and large eyes, right?
Yeah.
And these native shaman believe that they called them star gods, and they brought odd beings with like this strange freaking large eyes. And the cave drawings in the American Southwest depict these. They're humanoid, right?
Yeah.
But again, they've got these weird large heads. And there's more similarities in some later stuff I'm going to cover. But now, this area in particular, there's a lot of weird government activity. Like locals there, it's around the town called Dulce, New Mexico.
Yeah.
And there's like way too much government activity there. There's like Black Hawk helicopters flying all over all the time. And some locals even report sightings of like odd creatures and weird groans and sounds from these long underground shafts into volcanic rock. So this is another place in the world where there's these long shafts, reports of living underground, and it's volcanic rock. It's soft rock. Just like the place in Turkey. Right?
Wow. Fuck.
Right? So, what the fuck is going on, man? And I think it's amazing to me where we can see people drawing lines to their creation myths.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it's fascinating. And so let me shift gears again. And I know I'm rambling here, but I'm on a roll. So whatever. Call me butter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on a roll. Now, we go south into South America in the Andes Mountains in Ecuador, right? And this is probably one of my favorites. There's a headhunter tribe called the Shuar, and they have this legend of a cave called Tayos. And in the mid-1900s, there was a Catholic missionary named Father Crespi that came to Ecuador, from Italy. And he helped them with medicine. He spread his gospel, the whole nine. And the natives gave him gifts in return for his help, right? And some of these gifts were these weird metallic tablets that were made. They had like these elaborate carvings, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And these carvings had nothing in common with any of the language of the Shuar people. It was not a South American language. It wasn't a language anybody knew about. And some theorists feel like these treasures came from this Tayos cave and were left over from an ancient advanced culture. So the plot thickens a little bit when this Scottish explorer visited Ecuador in 1975 to find out what's going on in this Tayos cave, or if this Tayos cave even exists. And so he looked at one of the gifts in this priest's collection, and again, it was a large tablet with carvings nobody was able to translate at all. So then he goes back to Scotland, he kind of regroups, and then in 1976, he returns with a group of explorers, including, get this, Neil Armstrong.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
The moon Neil Armstrong?
Astronaut, yes. What is Neil Armstrong doing? Going to fucking Ecuador to look at a cave. Why is an astronaut going to look at a cave? What the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that's odd.
There's
so
no
freaking
fucking
odd.
reason for the spaceman to go to a cave, unless they thought, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they entered this cave system, what they thought might lead to this Tayos cave, and they found massive caves that it was evident that they had been excavated. They weren't all like they were natural caves, but there was evidence of excavation, people going down there and creating rooms and creating more shit down there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But all these caves dated to be thousands of years old, all the shit that's in these caves, because you can't carbon date rock, like I said earlier. So these caves have been untouched for a long ass time, but there's evidence of excavation into rock. What kind of tools did the people of that time have to excavate into rock? Right? They didn't have backhoes. Yeah. So they weren't able to find this Taos cave, but there was this legend of this fucking Ecuadorian diver dude that claimed to have found this Taos cave himself, right? And according to his account, there was a secret underwater entrance that he had to dive, swim underwater, and then come up like an air bubble. Have you ever seen Atlantis?
Yeah.
The kids show where it's like their Atlantis is somehow underwater, but there's still air. It's like that. And he goes into this crazy cavern, and he said there were like room after room after room, and it was like a metallic library. He went into this room with a fuckload of books that were all made of like gold and silver and shit. And apparently all of them had those bizarre writings in an odd language, like a hieroglyphic type thing. And he said some of them even looked like advanced mathematical formulas.
Oh, wow.
But before this Hall guy could track this explorer down and actually like, let's go on an expedition together, the explorer died.
Oh my God, dude. That's like every single like you know, plot of a movie. Like, oh, he died. Like, oh, fuck. Like, everything he knows is just gone with him.
Yeah. And then so a few years later, Stanley Hall dies. And I'm not sure how, but they didn't go into that in the special, but I'm assuming it was natural causes. Otherwise, I would have gone into it farther. But Hall's daughter is now kind of taking up the where her father left off, and she wants to keep this going. And when she attempted to go, and you remember the Italian missionary, right?
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to go and look at that collection just like her dad did, and she found that almost all of it had mysteriously vanished. Wow. Nobody knows where it went. Nobody knows who took it. Nobody knows where the fuck it went. Where did they go? I'm thinking Neil Armstrong may have had something to do with this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Some lab just came in and swept everything.
Right, or did the Schwar people take them back? Or were they stolen? There's really no way to know. But, like, why would someone... As far as we know, or as far as we can tell, these are just gifts from an ancient civilization to a missionary, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So why would anybody need to steal them? Do they have any inherent value? Is that a high theft item? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people only take something if it's valuable to them, generally, if you're not a crazy person. But so this clearly had value to somebody, and most of this dude's collection was taken at the same time. So that's just bizarre again, right? So there are still tribes that are protecting the secret of this Taos cave in Ecuador right now, right? So could this suggest that, I mean, I don't know, it's just bizarre. Bizarre as hell. Why the hell is Neil Armstrong there? What happened to this Taos cave? What happened to the explorer? What happened to the dude's collection, right? Now, part of the shit that Stanley Hall's daughter found in this guy's collection were sculptures, right? And they're just kind of ceremonial looking sculptures. You know how Christians have the sculpture of Jesus, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there were these sculptures of these humanoid beings with these large heads, kind of like we see in the cave drawings in the Southwest. But when you look at a picture of these these sculptures, and you look at their heads isolated, they have these like elongated heads, like they have these weird craniums, like elongated skulls.
Yeah.
And it's the same exact head shape as the Egyptian sculptures. The same. Halfway around the world, there's no way these cultures could have spoken, you know? But it's the same sculpture.
That is so bizarre, dude. That is so weird.
Right? So was there a third civilization that appeared to both the Shuar people and the Egyptians? Why are there pyramids, very similar pyramids, halfway around the world? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love talking about this shit because it's like, what the fuck?
Well, it's just so weird because like obviously both of these tribes were visited by something. You know what I mean? Something inspired them to like revere them as gods or to like build these structures for them. That's just so weird to me that like I don't know, like they don't really delve into it. Like you know what I mean? Like you don't see anyone going out there trying to find the answers.
Well, a
Um,
lot of that shit's protected.
exactly. Yeah. Like I don't
Like
know.
this
That's just
tribe that's
weird.
protecting this this cave, or the legend of this cave. So then 700 miles north, we're going to stop in kind of the Yucatan area for the Mayans, right?
Mhm.
There's another cave that the Mayans used as an underground temple. There was a Spanish priest that visited the Mayan people, and were texts that he wrote down that are hundreds of years old, and he wrote all about these crazy caves, right? And some of them were hundreds of feet deep, and they performed rituals in the caves. And in these caves as well, 700 miles north of Ecuador, not near as far away as Egypt, but there's these large carved heads. And these heads are like 20 feet tall, you know?
Yeah.
But they've got the same elongated cranium, this weird fucking shaped head, this lima bean looking ass head, you know?
Yeah.
And so there were also these really big ass carved pillars that they the machinery even today it would be a massive undertaking to do this, but these are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old, and there's even a concrete road, like not a road that was carved, like it was made and formed out of concrete, and it's underground, and there's a massive pyramid underground in this cave, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Again, how are they getting materials down there? How are they making sure ventilation's down there? How are they making sure they can fucking see down there? And there's bones down there that are thousands of years old. And again, all this shit's underground. And this underground world is in some of the Mayan lore and the Mayan legends, because fortunately the Mayans left us a lot of literature. They talked their calendar, their religious stuff, they left us a lot. And this underground world in the Mayan lore was ruled by these gods of the dead. And there was an underground city in these Mayan legends that had a cave. There was an underground city with a room of knives, right? And one of these rooms in this massive cave has these really sharp stalactites. So some people are saying this room of knives is this room with the stalactites, right?
Mhm.
There's also a room in the legends that was the room of bats. And there's a real cave in this cave system that has thousands and thousands and thousands of bats year round, right? And there's also this massive fucking trench that runs through the middle of this underground city, and it corresponds with the place that in these Mayan legends there was a river of blood running.
Oh wow.
So there's this whole underworld that's described in these Mayan legends, and there's a whole bunch of shit that corresponds to this real cave system, right?
Yeah.
So some say the cave system could have been dug after, like as a representation of this Mayan text, but the artifacts in the cave date back to before the book was written. So this cave is older than the book. So if these Mayan legends are talking about a real place, like if the rooms are real and the river of blood is real, there's also mention of these gods. So could the gods be real too? Right?
Yeah.
So, and again, this is a human representation thousands of years old. So there's a lot of speculation here. But some speculate that these lords or gods of the dead could be real. And one of these books said, a road from the stars descended to earth and 13 and 9 priests arrived to the earth. And they were called the Jaguar priests, and they ruled this underworld.
Holy shit.
What the fuck is going on?
That's like scary. You know what I mean? Like
it literally says that there was a road from the stars and some fucking dudes stepped off, or priests, not specifically dudes, and there's evidence that these ancient gods withdrew at some point. in the Mayan texts, like these powers left, and then shortly after that, we see the Mayan human sacrifice starting. So could the human sacrifice be a way to plead these gods to come back? Could it be a way to make sure that it corresponded with the sun, right?
Yeah.
But the human sacrifice did. It was a way to make sure the sun came back the next day, or at least some of the tribes used it like that. But these people believed that these gods came from the sky. The sun's in the sky. The stars are in the sky. So maybe they thought that the sun were these gods that they once like talked to and saw, you know? So this human sacrifice could be directly related to these jaguar priests that came from the stars.
Fuck, dude. That's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it really fucks with your brain. You're like, whoa.
What? It's just like, I don't know. It's just so scary for them to say like, oh, like these guys came from the stars. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like something about that just like is so off-putting because they don't even call them like anything. They call them like priests. You know what I mean? Which I would okay. Like a priest is like pretty much a servant to the god, right?
Right, or a liaison, or
Yeah.
like,
So like
yeah.
they didn't even see like the big monster slash god or whatever's out there. They just saw his like servants. You know what I mean?
Possibly.
So
I want to
that's
get
just,
more.
It's fucking creepy.
Yeah, I want to get more into the theory. I've kind of laid it all out.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go into the break, and then the second segment, we're just gonna fucking talk about it all. How's it going, everybody? This is Spike from the Purgatory Podcast. When Matt and I decided to start this podcast, neither one of us knew kind of where to start or how to distribute it to different platforms, and that's when we came across the Anchor app. Now, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast because they give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your computer or your phone. Different creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great, and this was the kicker for me. They'll distribute your podcast with no minimum listenership to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and several more. Now, there's really only one more thing left for you to do if you're looking to start a podcast, and that's get out your phone, open your laptop, download the Anchor app, and go to anchor.fm to get started. All right, Madman, welcome back from the break. I know I laid a lot of information out.
Just freaking scatterbrained right now.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool to talk about, you know, like the whole shows or TV or whatever, First Encounter. It's always like a UFO comes down and the alien steps off the plane and you say, hey, what'd it do? And then the alien flies away, you know? But all of these, just like that, you actually have to say, hey, what'd it do?
What'd it do, baby?
Yeah. But all of these legends talk about these gods, these extraterrestrial beings coming down to Earth and just kicking it and living here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Having these weird shaped heads and shit, just looking all goofy. So what do you think is the most plausible explanation for all of these parallels between all of these ancient civilizations? Why are they all talking about the weird shaped heads? Why are they all talking about sky gods? Why are they all talking about chariots of fire and fucking roads coming down from on high, you know?
Yeah. Like my excuse would be like, oh, they're probably just, you know, all doing DMT. But the
Crazy,
fact,
man. Pull that shit up, Jamie. Yeah.
the fact that they all have like this similar like concept or design of like what they saw, that's what like I just can't explain that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no way that they had boats, you know what I mean, to go across and spread their word at all. So it's like, how did they come up with the same thing?
Yeah, it's kind of to talk to like kind of the same idea with your DMT thing. Like people will do a DMT or ayahuasca or something like that trip or an experience, and then they'll all write it down and they'll have shared experiences.
Yeah.
You know, so there must be some kind of plane that they're entering together. And that could be part of this. Maybe it was a DMT thing or a trip thing, but I don't think that explains it, because that could even mean that there's this other dimension that's on Earth where these extraterrestrials live.
Fuck, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's heavy.
And I know that a lot of people that have done DMT, a common thing they talk about is these oddly colored humanoid things with large heads.
They always talk about like a voice that they can always hear.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is like could DMT be an entrance into this realm where we see these things happening? Or is that where these people were? Did they do something like that? Or did they just did some stairway from heaven come down and Led Zeppelin played a song and then they wrote it on a cave wall, you know? I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's just crazy. And I think it's amazing that you mentioned the whole priests thing. I feel like they could be saying priest just as a holy person. Again, these are ancient texts that have probably been translated into different languages.
Yeah.
So the word priest may mean something different. But we see it not just in North and South America, but in this one in Turkey is amazing. I had no clue about this one. This Darren Kuyu thing. I figured you'd have more to talk about on this. You're just
Well,
going,
dude, like
whoa.
it's okay, because like okay, everyone knows like the idea of aliens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone goes like, oh, I mean, our universe is so huge. Like I could imagine like there has to be something out there, but like you're just like presenting all these facts of like, hey man, if like people deny it, yeah, you can deny it, but this is just so like some there's something there. You know what I mean? This
It's
isn't
not
just a
I'm
bunch
not
of
even saying
bullshit.
I'm not even saying that aliens are real.
Yeah,
I'm just saying this shit is weird. There's some
yeah,
weird
exactly.
shit and there's nothing you can be like, "Oh, here's the answer."
I know, and
Like
that's the worst part. You just can't like I don't know. It's just it's almost like it's almost off putting where you're like I don't know. It's like this like tingly feeling like oh fuck, dude.
yeah, if you just play the math game. My brother and I did this and I fucking forgot the numbers. But the pyramids in Egypt, it took X amount of years to build them. There's X amount of blocks, and how those blocks were fucking huge and heavy,
Yeah,
And forget about taking the blocks from the bottom all the way up to the top of the actual pyramid,
yeah,
which I would assume it would take longer to lay that block than it would to lay the blocks that are on the base, you know.
hmm
Plus, it wasn't just a pyramid. There were rooms and cave systems in the pyramid. But if you do the math on how many blocks there are and how many years it took them to build it, you'd have to lay a block like every day and night, no breaks, rain, sleet, snow, shine. You'd have to lay one of those blocks like every 12 minutes. The whole time, constantly, no breaks. If you just do math, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's amazing. What the hell's going on? I mean,
what the hell's going on?
yeah, I mean,
I want the answers.
yeah, like I turn into some fucking crazy guy. What's going on here?
We just become like crackpot, like conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, I don't want this to become the alien podcast.
Yeah,
This stuff's just fun to talk about. But according to the Bible, the Old Testament, the Torah, the Jews built the pyramids. The Jews were slaves to the Egyptians at the time, and the Jews are very resilient people apparently because they built these things fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Either that or there was some help from beyond our understanding. And again, Egypt, that's another podcast in and of itself, is all the weird extraterrestrial shit that's in the Egyptian culture. But there's these carvings in Egypt of these weird long craniums, these big heads. And I'm like, what? It's just bizarre. So why, if there was all this evidence years ago, and every religion and almost every culture, they've got these origin stories having to do with something descending and giving them a message, Why is there no speak of it now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like this could be cover-up type stuff. Like, let's just not talk about it. And we live in the information age now. I think it's easier now to control information than ever before. Even though there's more information, I think it's easier to control.
Yeah, well, I mean, now you can just like hide things or block things from certain regions.
Right. So, and of course, governments have more resources than anybody. They've got, and if they don't have, if like, well, anonymous and hackers and shit, the government's got enough money to buy those people. So I mean, they can just be on a government payroll in a heartbeat, you know. So, I mean, what do you think? Is there a cover up going on? Is there something happening that's beyond our understanding? And then to what end? If the government is covering, if governments in general are covering this up or keeping this from us, to what end? Why? Do they want to maintain this illusion of control? Or are there lizard people up there that are controlling the government?
Man, like who knows? But like one scary thing that you brought up is like, what if like they're still here? You know what I mean? And like they're just kind of behind the scenes running everything.
Like that movie They Live.
Yeah, well, I mean, like they could, I don't know, like maybe they kind of understood, like in the future, our currency would be this and this, right? So these guys just like came up early on, and like their families have been like in control. You know what I mean? I don't know. You could go like any direction with this kind of thing, but like that's just freaky, dude. That obviously there's something going on. Like that's a fact. That's just like a given. But like,
So you feel like maybe this, for lack of a better term, Illuminati top 1% or one
yeah,
tenth of 1% could be this odd ruling class.
yeah. I mean, for sure, because okay, these guys had technology, right? Obviously, to like get to our Earth. So I think like maybe even not to get like to conspiracy, but like these guys are like they on their planet they could be everyday Joes, but then I think like these could just be like random like
Yeah,
people
like
from their
Superman.
planet.
Like
Yeah,
Superman was just a
exactly.
guy
Yeah,
on
from his
Krypton.
Earth, and he comes here, he's like a god. So he just came here, and they're just like, oh, we could just like rule this planet. You know what I mean? There doesn't have to be like I don't know, It's just
And
weird,
why,
bro.
yeah, why rock the boat if people are already following us, or
Hmm.
we're if you control the information, you control everything,
Yeah,
you know. And I mean, a lot of governments now, they have whole wings of like cyber security and information control. That's what governments do now. They do control information.
yeah.
So, and that's, I mean, a lot of these texts, they were given this information and given these messages from these odd, big head looking motherfuckers. And they wrote it down in a book. So they were given information as well. So how much information did those people have, or those beings have, that they didn't give to these ancient people?
That's what I'm saying. Like they could have like withheld some information, and they kind of just like I don't know, just kind of like toying with the humans from early on. Because like
Hmm.
we weren't like all there back then. I think now we have a pretty good grasp of like life and death and kind of just like everything in general. Whereas back
According to
then,
what people have told us, though, according to information
exactly.
that we've been spoon fed.
Hmm.
And that's part of that. That's why I find it so interesting when people play with DMT or psychedelics. And I have every intention of doing that, finding a
Hmm.
way to do it legally. You know, if it
Yeah,
was legal, I'd do it. I would have already done it, you know, but I don't want to go to jail.
yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah. That's another thing to bring up is like how that's like illegal in like a lot of the major countries.
yeah. So let's go down this rabbit hole. Let's say that these people were doing some kind of drug experiment, or these shaman were doing this drug experiment. They entered this other realm and they were able to talk to these entities, and they came back with this message and they wrote it down.
I think that's a cool picture to like draw in your head because
Uh-huh.
like, can you imagine like they go to this different like dimension, and there's like just like these three aliens floating in the middle, and then there's just like the Navajo tribe, right? And then
Hmm.
like a Mayan guy faces in, and like you know what I mean? Like that'd be like a really cool.
You
Um,
go into this like VR chat style room, and there's
yeah,
like
that's what I'm thinking. Like this would be like a cool game actually.
you
Like it's
go
like
in there and you're like, huh, this is really multiracial. There's representation from every tribe throughout history. There's a
the
samurai guy
original.
over there.
There's a samurai. There's a ninja right there. Oh wow.
Yeah.
They
There's
start
a
like duking
Zulu.
it
There's
out.
like a Zulu warrior over there, and there's a freaking guy doing capoeira over there.
That's a dope game. That'd be a dope game. Like I don't know. That's what I was picturing while you were saying that, and I'm just like, wow. Like yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man.
crazy.
I this is so cool. And it's so weird. And I love talking about this more, and I love talking about UFOs and stuff, but it's a shame that when you start talking about this and you start looking at it on YouTube, you always end up on a YouTube channel or seeing a video of somebody that's like, they visited my house and they abducted my cows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, they didn't.
You're like, you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
this guy's kind of ruined it for me.
And I'm like, ah, damn it, I got to take another 90-day break. I'll be back. Yeah.
Have you real quick, just have you seen that there's like theories slash conspiracies that there's actually pyramids in Antarctica?
That was actually one of the things discussed in this special. Was there was this entrance into the hollow Earth. There's this hollow Earth theory.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I think it's hand in hand with flat Earth, and that's why I didn't want to talk about it because I just find it ridiculous. But
yeah, I mean, I've never delved too far into that, but I remember just seeing one time, like on YouTube, like this guy talk about how like, well, the thing that I was watching was more just about the pyramids. How he's like, okay, it's weird they have some like in like Egypt, right, in Africa, and then they'll have some in South America, and then they'll have some in North America, and then they'll have some in Antarctica. You know what I mean? He was like, it like something had to have like gone around showing everyone how to build like these like temples for them or something. So I was like,
or
oh wow.
were they built by an all powerful culture as a way to?
Oh, like kind of your Statue of Liberty, like this is my gift to you.
No, were they technology? Were they like waypoints for some kind of navigation system?
Oh, dude, I just got goosebumps. Like I just got chills on the back of my neck.
And they're all very similar, right? And they're very tall and they're geometric and they point like I'm pretty sure that the pyramids in Egypt are like under the North Star. They're like under Orion's belt or something like that.
Oh my god.
So there's this weird astronomy is involved here. This is fucking math. This is geometry.
Yeah.
This is engineering. Like those pyramids have been there for so fucking long. I don't think our skyscrapers are going to stand that long. So there is tremendous engineering here. There's tremendous knowledge. That's Harvard shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that wasn't a thing then. So fuck, man. Even like King Tut was the boy king, right? I think he died when he was like 9 or 11 years old. And all the sculptures of him, all these fucking sculptures and the sarcophagus stuff and the mummies, where the mummies are in, they all have these big fucking heads. And they have this headdress that it hides the shape of their head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, now I see what you're saying. Like, you're like, they have big heads. I'm like, oh shit, do they got big heads? It's like no, like you mean like it's almost like they're trying to hide something.
It's this oddly shaped head. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like Vegeta's hair, but their head.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lima bean kind of shape kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Saying earlier.
And all of the sarcophagus that they're is it sarcophaguses? Sarcophagi?
I think it's sarcophagi, if I had to guess.
All the sarcophagi have these odd it's the classic Egyptian headdress. You know? And they've got this weird headdress that hides the shape of the head. You could fit a big ass head in that thing. It's weird, man. It's weird. And it's fun to talk about.
Oh, it's super fun to talk about, dude. God damn. This is like what I hate is like this is so interesting, but it sucks for people who are just like, oh, that's not realistic. You know what I mean? Because it's like, no, dude, there's something there.
You know the way you test if somebody is fun to talk to?
Oh.
Give them like a good would you rather, and if they go like neither, or option C, I'm like, we're done.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, you know, our population grows every year globally, you know, and years and years and years ago, thousands of years ago, the population of these civilizations must have been like 4 people. But maybe not, because this Derinkuyu construction in Turkey could house 20,000 people. That must have been like New York fucking city back then. 20,000 people?
Yeah.
They must have had some kind of infrastructure and understanding of medicine and farming and a way to feed that many people.
What I think is weird is like, how did they like just know about childbirth? You know what I mean? how do they know like how to just do it? Like, I mean, I know they didn't do it safely because obviously a lot of people died, but like they just, I don't know, they just knew like what always gets me is like, okay, like how did the first caveman know? Like, all right, I put this in there, I'll do it for a while, and then 9 months later something comes out. You know what I mean?
You've been
Like
watching chimps do it, bro.
like, I mean I would assume so, but I don't know. It's just weird to me.
That's instinct, man.
That's instinct.
A dog
I
is no.
I
A
feel
dog is
something.
born. A dog is born knowing how to sniff another dog's ass.
Yeah,
You know, there's just shit we're born with, like DMT.
like DMT.
We need to do that.
Well,
That'd be such a great podcast.
you
to
know how
talk-
like before they legalized weed, people were like starting to buy into like the stocks and stuff and like getting ready.
Mhm.
When they legalized DMT, we're gonna start the first DMT shop.
Dude, what would we call it? Purgatory DMT shop. That'd be great.
The DMT world, I don't know. That'd be crazy though.
Joe Rogan's DMT experience.
Yeah, our first investor, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that'd
and
be
Alex
awesome.
Jones.
I wonder what they would think about this shit. I'm going to talk a little bit more. Again, like I said, I don't want this to become the alien podcast. And
Yeah.
I'm going to do like a 2 or 3 episode series, and we're going to alternate. Mad wants to cover some various cults and conspiracies and stuff. And we've got a couple guests that I'm very excited about to talk about some famous flubs of the U.S. government and weird conspiracy shit.
Yeah.
And so that'll be fun. I don't want this to turn into conspiracy theory podcast, but I think they're just fun to talk about.
Yeah, I don't want to like scare off any fans by kind of just like delving into this stuff. But I think we just find it interesting. You know what I mean? And it's just something that we could just like sit around and talk about for hours, just because it's something that we've always heard about, but
Yeah.
it's always been like, oh, that's strange. You know what I mean?
It's fun
And,
to
like,
go
there's
down the
always
rabbit
theories
hole.
yeah, exactly. There's always like theories around it and stuff. It just, yeah.
I think theories are awesome. I think that conspiracies are very interesting.
Mhm.
Now, where it becomes toxic is when you start denying Sandy Hook and stuff like that.
Yeah, when you start denying things that people
Or you
have
say-
lost lives in.
Yeah, you start talking about how 9/11 was planned. It's like that's in really poor taste.
Mhm.
I don't want to talk about that. I don't even want to. I did just bring it up, but I was bringing it up in a way to say that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so be careful with that. We talked about this in the last podcast about how you have to put roadblocks in the way for yourself so that you don't go too far down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
When you start to say shit and people are like, "Whoa, dude,
This guy's like out there.
Let-
He's like too
yeah.
out there.
listen to that stuff."
Cause we're doing it more in a way where like, okay, that's an interesting theory. That's an interesting conspiracy. Where there's people out there who are like, no, this happened. You know what I mean? Like this is exactly what happened. I believe this and nothing else.
Yeah, there's a
That's-
difference
that's
between
when it
being
gets dangerous.
curious and being stupid.
Yeah.
So we should rename this to the Curiosity Podcast.
And then
But-
like the FBI comes after us and they gun us down. They're like, curiosity killed the cat.
Or Neil Armstrong does it. He
Stop,
beats us with
dude. Don't
beats
jinx
us with-
us like that.
beats us with those giant tablets that he stole from Father
He
Christie,
stole-
dude.
Dude, that's weird, dude. That's
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Why is he there?
I don't know.
Why was he there? Ah.
I
Well, this
want
has
to
been.
one day at some convention, be like, "Why were you there? What were you doing there?"
He just punches you like Buzz Aldrin.
He like
Punches
fucking
that one guy.
touches his
Is
chest.
Neil Armstrong
What-
dead? I think he's dead.
Oh yeah, he is. Fuck.
He ain't punching nobody.
He is.
Rest in peace, my dude Neil. That'd be cool to walk on the moon,
Yeah.
like bouncing around. We're kind of losing steam here.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been fun. It's been an interesting one to just challenge what you think, you know. And that's what we're aiming to do. We're aiming to challenge people to think. We're aiming to challenge people to do something out of the ordinary, to always be curious, but don't be fucking weird. Don't go too far. You know what I mean? Always be healthy. Find moderation.
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and please like and share our podcast to your friends that you think would like it, or maybe your friends and family you think would like it. But yeah, other than that, see you guys on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll be here. We record on Thursday and we post on Friday, dingus.
I'll see you guys on Friday.
Hell
Just edit that part and edit my Friday over Thursday.
yeah. Tell your friends, tell your fam, keep tuning in for your weekly trip to Purgatory.